Hello, welcome to my channel. This is Charlie at My Messy Fingers. I was digging around in my stash again today and decided I was going to pull out and play with some Steampunk Graphic 45s. It's about a 2-year-old collection. It's called Steampunk Spells. Let me see if I can get that out right. I am playing with the 12 by 12 collection, and I'm digging around here, kind of show you what I've started with. I took the main page and I cut several elements off of it, and as tradition with Steampunk Spells, we're all including this lady, so I might as well too. So, but I'm picking apart the main page, and then I'm going to build from it with these elements. I'm not sure what background I'm going to use yet, but we'll see what happens. So what I am going to do, I'm going to wrap it in black, and I don't think I'm going to do a double color on the front of this. We'll see how it turns out when I get to actually designing the front of this book. It does measure 9.5 in height by 9 inches, and I have a 9.5 inch spine by 1 7/8. There's only going to be 2 working pages, but between the panels on the left and right side plus 4 signatures, it's going to be a total of 6 signatures altogether in this album. So these are my chipboard pieces. My black cardstock is 65-pound weight, and I have one that measures 11.5 by 11 3/8, and I have another one that measures 11.5 by 11.5. When I put this together, I'm going to lose some of the width on the right side piece because of where I'm taping it. And when I do tape it, I want that as close to center on the spine as possible. That way, there's no pressure on this seam, and I don't want the seam interfering with any of the edges on the chipboard. I did cut 2 pieces of Tyvek, and I'm using them as my spine mounts. I love this stuff. It's very resilient. It does not tear easily, and it allows the cardstock to float over it so that the cardstock is not floating over the rough edges of the chipboard. So let me finish getting some tape on these, and then we'll get to putting things together. Now, these measure 2 inches in width, and just as long as you've got enough length so that you're within an inch or so of the end, or you can take it all the way to the end if you wish. Mine's going to cover... come within about 1/2 inch, 3/8 of an inch from either end. Now, at 2 inches, I want a 1/4 inch gusset in the middle of this. So I have scored this at 7/8, and then I have scored it at 1 1/8, which then gives me this 1/4 inch gusset that will be in between all of my chipboard panels, my chipboard pieces. And I will be lining up right to that score line. I am going to go ahead and move this out of the way for the moment. And I am going to burnish, make sure we've got good contact. I've played with this collection twice before. I bought up a whole bunch of it when it first came out because I just loved it. So this is the last of my hoard. And I know it's a more of a Halloween, but I think there's always a reason to play with some steampunk paper. Okay, so I laid my chipboard right up along that score mark, and now I'm going to come in with one of the panels and making sure that I've got 9.5 with 9.5. So, but this time I'm only going to remove just this inner piece because I need to be able to place this. Now I'm placing this right up next to this other score line, and at the same time trying to make sure that I'm even on my placement of the panel. Okay. And now I'll take this off. All right, so that's one panel, and I've got my 1/4 inch. So let's get in here and let's do this piece. It's a little bit easier to manipulate this small piece than it is the big one. Get that down there. Now you can get this Tyvek at any stationery store. You can get it from a company called Uline, or you can find it on Amazon, and it's Tyvek, Tyvek. And then this one's going to go on just like that. Make sure I'm level here on my grid. Perfect. What? Oh, I guess I didn't get all the tape off. That's why that was trying to pull away. All right, so now we're all together here. And now I'm going to take this, and I'm using a 3/8 of an inch tape. I'm off just a little bit. Well, I'm not going to worry about it. It's got kind of a bubble in it. Well, if I've got to try to fix the bubble, I might as well release the whole thing and then reset it. So I think what I'll do is I'll start here at the bottom where I can see that I'm actually even with the paper, and then I'll follow that tape line up. Oh, that's so much better. Should have done that in the first place. All right, so when I place this on here, The measurements that I gave you is so that there's roughly 1 inch all the way around. And I'm going to put tape on this side first, and then I'll put it down onto the cardstock. This will be the outside of the album. This side. So I'm going to start here on the chipboard end. And I'm sorry I'm off camera for a portion of this because my desktop is not that big. I got to turn this. So now I'll go in the middle again. And then I'm going to go in the middle of each one. Oh, I guess I could have done this to begin with. Huh? Goofy girl. All right, now I'm going to push against the, if I can get it to quit wiggling on me. I want to push against this spine so that it's up tight against the Tyvek. So when I put my tape down, I'm not going to get any wiggles in the tape. I want it right tight, snug. All right, then I'm going to do the same with this piece. I want it just nice and snug. Then I'm going to go to this end. In the middle. And then in the middle again. That one was a little bit crooked, but nobody's going to see it, so who cares? Okay. Give it a good burnish, get all the air pockets out, the wrinkles out. And I am going to put one here in the very center because I'm going to set it first. All right, this to me is the most critical part, is setting this on to your cardstock. Like I said, you want roughly 1 inch all the way around. And I'm going to palm my hand on the left-hand side so it doesn't move, because I think I've got a good visual on a 1 inch. It just twisted on me. Goodness sakes, goodness sakes. Okay, there we go. Now, I've got a step coming up here that is going to be really important. But I want to get this tape out of there first. Come on. Well, it won't let me grab it. There we go. Sorry if I got this up in the camera, but I needed to get in there. All right, now I want to make sure that's going to be on there. Now, this is the important step before we start taking any tape off. When you put this down, you want to make sure that your chipboard is not doing this, or even just a little bit, because it'll throw all the measurements off. It'll throw your book will be out of balance. So when you start removing the tape, you want to make sure that you give a gentle tug on the chipboard so that this gusset remains open, and then put your chipboard down. So I'll go ahead and show you what I'm talking about here. I'll get this tape removed. Okay, I don't want any folds. I want it to stay open, so I'm going to give a gentle tug, and then I'll press down. And my gusset is open. It's not collapsing in any way. And now I'll repeat for the other side. And once again, nice tug, and then just lay her down there. Sorry if this makes noise, but I got a burnish, so make sure that I don't have any air pockets in there. All right, now I'm going to run a line of tape on the outside on the black cardstock, and then I'm going to run a line of tape on the chipboard itself. Some of this may end up being off camera, and I apologize to you for that. Get this all done. We're getting close. And then my next step will be to miter the corners. Get these corners mitered. And one more. All right, so I'm going to start in the middle. I'm going to work my cardstock a little bit so I can get it to flex. And then we're going to start peeling off some paper off the tape. Now the way I taped this, I've got some tape that's going to be in the way when I fold these flaps down, so I'm going to pull back on it just a little bit, but not enough to take it off. I just want it out of the way for now. Now we're gonna fold these corners in here. And I'm going to pull this one back a little bit as well. And we'll get that corner smashed in there. And then we'll get this all this tape removed. I'm going to turn this around. It's easier to work if I have it up here. I don't know if I mentioned this or not, but this is 65-pound weight that I'm wrapping with. And then the last one. Okay, now the other thing that I have a preference to do, you can do it if you want to or not, but I will caution you, you need to be careful. I want to get this black cardstock pushed down into that gusset as much as I possibly can. So I'm just going to start to bend and then just very gently roll that cardstock down into that gusset. You don't want to push too hard because you'll end up tearing it. I've done that several times. If you do, depending upon what kind of glue you're using, I use art glitter glue because it dries fairly clear. I think on black you can actually see it. But anyway, I will fill in where the tear is with that glue. And it will prevent it from tearing any further. But you just got to be kind of gentle. And just when I think I'm being gentle, oops, I'll get a tear. So far, so good. All right. So then when you close, you have nice peaks here on your corners. See that? Okay, now let's work on this inside piece. I want a piece that's going to measure not quite 9 3/4 because I don't want it all the way to the edge. And I want it by 6 inches. So 6 inches. And I wonder where this, let me see where I trim this at so I can give you a measurement. It looks like it's coming in at 9 1/2. Let me mess with it first before I give you a confirmation on that measurement. Nope, I need to take a little bit off. I don't want it at 9 1/2. I think I want it more like 9 3/8. That will leave about 1/16 of an edge. So it does, it leaves about, so this is going to be 6 inches by 9 3/8. Now I'm going to tape the perimeter of this, and then I'm going to run some tape down this. But I'm not going to put tape on the black cardstock because there's going to be tape already there, and I don't want to accidentally get the tape too long, and then I've got tape showing on the ends of the black cardstock. Alrighty. I want to just take the center piece off for now until I get this lined up here and set in place. So I want to be as even as I can be, left to right with the 6 inches. Lay it down. I'm about 1/16 off of the end, so I should be about the same. I can feel it. I can't see it, but I can feel it. And we'll just get in here and peel these off. And now we'll peel these off. Actually, I kind of want to hold off. I want to hold off on the edges, and I'll show you why. I'm just going to take the ends off, and I'm not going to press the ends very hard. I'm going to use a bigger ball, and I want to feel where my gusset is, because again, I want to press as much of this black cardstock down into this gusset. So that when the book opens and closes, that excess cardstock is down in the gusset. And then I'm going to press down, and I'll get in here and take this off. Now I'm going to do the same thing over here. I just realized this tool is about 1/4 of an inch. But I'm going to go back to my ball. I trust it. Get this down in there. Without just want to be real careful. So then when this comes together, again, you have these nice little peaks on your corners. Now we're going to do the pages. Now I'm going to go to a heavier cardstock. It's going to be 100-pound cardstock because I build up my pages quite a bit. So my first trim is going to be 9 3/8 of an inch. So let me get that trimmed up over here real quick. 9 3/8. And then I will trim another one at 9 3/8. And then we'll talk about how I go about setting my length. All right, I'm going to score mark this at 5/8 of an inch because I like to have decent gussets between my pages so that when I go to build them up, I don't have them kind of fighting for the same space in between. So I'm going to do a 5/8 gusset on both of these. Fold it back and burnish along that score mark. Now, if you build albums, you've got your own way of doing things, but this is kind of how I do mine. I sit my album up on end and I put my page in as if it's already attached. And I want to see where I'm at over here. And I want to come in about 3/8 of an inch off the edge, so that I've got room here. I don't like my pages expanding beyond the edge of the album. And I do 1/4 inch build-ups, and that will more than likely absorb a good portion of this. So let's see where my measurement came in at. It's coming in at 9.5 inches. So it's 9 3/8 by 9.5 with a 5/8 score. And you're going to want this 2 times. So I'll get some 1/2 inch tape out here and put it on here. Oh, I have to cut these down. Kind of got ahead of myself there. So I need to cut this down to 9.5 inches. There's that one. And then here's this one. All right, now when I lay these in, I'm going to take the edge of this and I'm going to run it just a little hair on the other side of this chipboard edge. I don't want it on there, I just want it a little bit past it. Just a fraction of an inch past it. Okay, now did it lay straight? It looks like it did. And then this is the challenge, as always, getting the second one to lay in. So I'm just going to come right up underneath that seam with this one. And I will gently lay it down, and then I will hope that this, oh, look at that, it lines up fairly decently. So here I have a 5/8 gusset, a 5/8 gusset, and roughly a 5/8 gusset here. It's maybe a little bit bigger. But that gives room in between all the pages so that, again, like I said, when I'm building up on them, they're not all fighting for the same small space. So that is the album build. I will not cover these because it's a waste of cardstock. I will be covering these with the designer paper when I get there. But that is my album. That is 9.5 by 9. So I'll see you on the next video when we're going to do the cover.